we've had some fireworks the last few weeks. This
We
week,
sure
we'll
have.
say it slowed down just a smidgen, is what they say. But let's do a little recap on the markets. I mean, this week the S&P 500 coming back a little bit, retracing about roughly around 3%, depending on when you listen to the show here today, but still down about 16% on the year.
Right.
Same thing with the NASDAQ coming back just slightly. But you know what? That's still down as well, about 27-ish% on the year. A lot of these gains this week, I feel, have came from the U.S. dollar. That has retraced a little
Right,
bit,
right.
about 3% over the past week and a half here. So, we're going to continue to monitor this dollar because that's going to really impact the stock market moving forward. But I tell you what, the pump prices, they're not going down. They are still going
not.
up. Oil is still in an uptrend, continuing to go up. So that's something that we really want to monitor because one of the things we're going to talk about here today on the show is how to combat a lot of this inflation. Prices are going up everywhere. Food, gasoline, anything that we buy these days, it almost feels like it's doubled. I tell you what, airline tickets, I've been buying some airline tickets,
Huge
and I feel they
increase.
have tripled in the last couple months here. So that's some things that we need extra income strategies for. Looking at Bitcoin down on the week as well, but that's consolidating right around that $30,000 mark. So we might see some opportunities with Bitcoin moving forward here. But Al, we've had some great moves last few weeks, as I mentioned earlier, consolidating and stabilizing a little bit. What do you see moving forward? Are we going to continue to see more volatility in the market? Is it going to slow down? What's your insight on the market?
So a lot of questions there. Yes, to the volatility question, we are going to see and continue to see volatility for some time. We just came off of an 8-week downturn for the Dow.
Yeah,
8 weeks,
8 weeks in a row.
90 years ago that happened. It took 90 years. The Dow or the NASDAQ and the Russell are still in bear territory, down over 20%. So there's bound to be some rebound buying, some bottom fishing, so to speak. A lot of people maybe think we've reached a bottom. A lot of people think we've got more to go. But
Lots of opinions there.
Yeah, but what it means is that we could have up days, we can have down days, we can have up weeks and down weeks, but there are opportunities in both directions. And this last week, we had the GDP numbers come out for the first quarter. It was down 1.5%. That was worse than thought. It was the consensus was 1.3. That's the worst quarter since the pandemic scarred quarter two of 2020.
And I think a lot of the pundits out there are talking the R word because of that.
Well, it's absolutely. The only thing that really was a positive is that the consumer spending has been increasing. And that's really, the consumer spending is about 70% of the GDP, of the economic activity.
Do you think that's a possibility because prices have just gone up?
Well, that's a big part of it, and there are some people who have been hired at some pretty decent wages, maybe got some increases, but the increases in wages still hasn't kept up with inflation. And what we found is that disposable personal income, real disposable personal income, fell 6.7% in that first quarter.
Not good.
So the consumer may be starting to feel the pinch of, as you mentioned, gas prices.
Yeah.
With interest rates going up, what's it impacting? Well, mortgages, credit cards, auto loans, all those things. Are any of those things important to you?
Yeah, well, and they're also saying with travel, because we have Memorial Day weekend coming up here, or if you're listening to the show after, it's just happened.
Right.
But people might be traveling less, so people are spending more on things that they probably don't want to spend more on.
Yeah, and here's the bottom line, though, Josh. You really don't need to pay that much attention to what's happening. What's really important is what's impacting the price of something.
Yeah.